I'm sorry for doing this live stream. I'm a little bit late, which means I'm going to have to do it a little bit quicker than usual. Maybe under 30 minutes because it's about to be sunset here in South Africa. If you're watching this afterwards, there's so much now on the channel, especially in the video section of the channel. There's IQ predictions, there's cardio advantages, there's top finishing rates, there's risky and safe predictions on the video section, short section. There's so much. Just go through the entire channel, and I'm pretty confident you'll like what you see. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the full card predictions for UFC 306, UFC Noche. Um, for such a monumental card, I would have expected a little bit more in terms of the amount of high level fighters. But I guess because UFC has decided to spend too much money on, um, Naidu, hi, how are you, man? I guess because the UFC has decided to spend so much money on production, they didn't want to spend any money on actually paying stars to perform. Like this card should have been like UFC 300, and it also sucks that it's only 10 fights on the card. But hopefully, they actually surprise us, and because in all honesty, I'm excited about the Raul Rosas fight and the three last fights on the card. But anyway, let me stop complaining and actually get to the predictions. Right, the first fight on the card is Raul Rosas Jr. versus Aori Quileng. My subscribers and I went with Raul Rosas Jr. My subscribers gave Raul Rosas Jr. the IQ advantage. My subscribers also feel like Raul Rosas Jr. is going to end this fight in the first round. Tweezy, haven't seen you on the stream in a while, man. Rosas at -7 is a little crazy to me. That's what I was saying, man. I was saying like Raul Rosas Jr. is a risky fight. Over one and a half. It's hard to say because I think Aori Quilang is a very tough fight. So, and at the same time, I wouldn't like. Obviously, we know how good Raul Rosas Jr. is, so it'll be challenging to actually see this fight ending quickly. But maybe there's a possibility we are overestimating, or rather, specifically me, I'm overestimating Aori Quilang's ability to survive. Because, in all honesty, I think this might be a decision. I think a lot of people have seen Raul Rosas Jr.'s previous performances, and they feel like this is going to be more or less the same type of performance. And honestly, I don't feel that way. I feel like it's going to be a very tricky fight. Um, he's a 19 to 20-year-old. I don't think any young guy is worth that, to be honest. Maybe he is, but my biggest issue is that I feel like Aori Quilang is being underestimated here because on the feed, Aori Quilang will probably have like a really good advantage. I think he's going to be the slightly better striker. Obviously, Raul Rosas Jr. will be the better grappler. However, yeah, maybe he might dominate on the ground. I mean, Aori Quilang does not have a good takedown defense. So I guess I could see why people feel so strongly about Raul Rosas Jr. actually winning this fight. Let me see. I think Aori working with Cejudo and Turkios took Rosas bag. It's possible, man. I think he's going to be a very difficult matchup for Raul Rosas Jr. Yeah, too inexperienced, makes bad decisions and rushes things. Yeah, I agree with that. Rosas should be a -250 in my opinion. I agree. I agree, and that's one of the reasons why I said this fight, in my opinion, will be a lot closer than people make it seem like it'll be. It's crazy to think that Raul Rosas Jr. is such a massive favorite when the fight is going to be close. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Um, yeah, this is supposed to be a setup. If I just don't want to lay down minus 800, I agree. Anyway, my subscribers and I went with Raul Rosas Jr. I don't feel pretty okay. I feel confidently, but I don't think he's that much of a favorite to be honest. I think it's a massive risk, but I mean he's probably the way this card is shaping up. He's probably the same, even though he's risky. He's probably one of the few fighters who are worth the risk, in my opinion, on the card. Um, so it's difficult to even argue because it only gets worse from here, in my opinion. Like there are maybe two fights that I think are decent, but in my opinion, it only gets worse from here. Um, let's go to the next fight. Edgar Chairez versus Joshua Van. My subscribers and I went with Joshua Van. My subscribers felt like Joshua Van is going to win this fight via decision. They also gave Joshua Van the IQ advantage. In all honesty, if Joshua Van wasn't coming in on short notice, I would have felt like this fight was a bit safe. But another thing is Edgar Chairez has power, right? Edgar Chairez has reach, and we saw what reach did to Joshua Van against Jose Johnson. Was it Jose Johnson? I mean, Joshua Van is the better fighter, but someone who has reach is going to give him problems. But in all honesty, I don't think reach always wins a fight. Um, for example, Nathaniel Wood in his previous fight, I think he was at a reach at disadvantage or something like that, and he still won. You know, and I don't think Edgar Chairez is that good. But it's still nonetheless a risky fight. I feel like Joshua Van is smaller than average. Like he's not like a proper like if there was if it was possible for him to drop down to a lower weight class, I think I would have said he should drop down, but I don't think there isn't below in the UFC there isn't any weight class below flyweight, so sucks for him, but yeah, that's one of the biggest issues I have with Joshua Van, and that's why I said like this fight is risky, and my subscribers and I agree it's 100% risky this fight. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. I'm going to respond to every single comment once I'm done because if I don't finish here, I won't finish if I keep on responding. But I'm going to go through the entire card and then I'll respond to every single comment after. So yeah, my subscribers and I went with Joshua Van. This is heavily risky. For me personally, it's not even worth the risk. But yeah, in all honesty, I think Joshua Van should win this fight. I think he's the better fighter. But the reach is very scary for me. On to the next one, Yasmin Jeregui. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name properly. Versus Caitlin Souza. My subscribers and I went with Yasmin. My subscribers gave Yasmin the IQ advantage, and they think the fight will end with a decision. I think it's a bet. It's a safe one. In women's MMA, it's most likely a fight will most likely end via decision. Another one. I think Caitlin Souza has a shot at winning. You know, I think on the feet she will be a little bit better. I think she's a bit more accurate in terms of strikes. I think she is defensively decent. I wouldn't say defensively good. I'd say she's defensively decent. Um, Yasmin obviously has the power advantage, in my opinion, in this particular instance. Um, Even on the ground, man. There are a variety of elements that made me that made me pick that made me pick Yasmin. But now, after doing a little bit more research, I'm sticking with Yasmin. But yeah, this is one of the few fights that I think I might get wrong. I doubt, but yeah, I'm not very confident. I'm not very confident with Yasmin. Um, damn. Anyway, my subscribers and I went with Yasmin. This card is just horrible. The risk level on this card is insane. Like, it's insane. A lot of people maybe probably don't see it, but I see it. I've been predicting fights for a while now, so I can see the amount of the possibilities of upsets here. Like, I'll explain what I mean when I do my upsets video on Saturday or Friday. But yeah, this card. Yeah, but the Yasmin fight, it's possible I could get this one wrong. Even though I picked Yasmin, I feel like Caitlin Souza has a shot at winning this fight. Um, Plus, it's women's MMA, anything is possible. Anyway, on to the next one, Manuel Torres versus Ignacio Bahamondes. My subscribers and I went with Manuel Torres. My subscribers gave the IQ advantage to Ignacio Bahamondes. My subscribers feel like this fight is going to end in the second round. Manuel Torres should definitely win this fight. I will be shocked and disappointed if he doesn't. I think he is by far the better fighter here. Yeah, by far the better fighter. Wherever this fight takes place, whether it's on the feet, whether it's on the ground, I feel like Manuel Torres should actually dominate this fight. Um, yeah, there's nothing much to add from that. I mean, the only advantage that I would give Ignacio is that he's good defensively, but I think even Manuel Torres is also decent defensively, so I wouldn't really say it's a massive advantage for him. And then what else? Reach. I don't think Ignacio is going to win this fight. Out of this is one of the riskiest fights, and out of out of all these 10 fights, this is probably the one fight that if I was putting money, I'd be like, okay, this is probably going to be worth it. I mean, MMA is unpredictable. We saw that last week. I was busy here saying Trevor Peak is going to win. I got the other 10 correct, and out of the two that I got wrong, Trevor Peak was one of them. Like, it's almost as if whenever I give a parlay, like one of the people in my parlay has to mess it up. Um, so if you've been watching my streams, I'm not going to give parlays. I'm tired of being wrong. I'll just focus on giving full card predictions because that's what I'm good at. Um, my predictions do well, so just make sure that you don't pick one of the two that I get wrong. I guess, or one of the three that I get wrong. That's where your research comes in. Because last week, if you ignored what I said about Trevor Peak, but I remember saying that you can also go for Andre Lima. So whoever decided to go with Andre Lima did really well. But nonetheless, I'm going to just focus on doing full card predictions because that's where I'm good at. As far as parlays, I think I'm gonna stay away from it. Anyway, I think Manuel Torres is going to win this one, and I'm basing this off of the fact that if it was me putting money on any fights out of this whole card, it would be the first one would be Torres for sure. Um, so yeah, I think Manuel Torres is going to definitely win this fight. On to the next one: Irene Aldana versus Norma Dumont. Uh, um, my subscribers and I went with Irene Aldana. Um, My subscribers feel like this fight is going to end via decision. They gave the IQ advantage to Norma Dumont. Another one that I might get wrong. I'm worried. I'm worried. You know, I've been doing really well for the past 5 weeks. For the past 5 weeks, I've been profitable, and I'm very happy about that. But this card, like, just scares the living crap out of me. Because here's the thing: Irene Aldana is older. You know, 26. 36 is not young in MMA years. That's very old, especially at the top of the division. Um, and another thing is, in terms of striking, I feel like Norma Dumont might have some level of an advantage, apart from the fact that Irene Aldana will have the reach advantage. But as far as striking, I feel like Norma Dumont might have a little bit of an advantage. I know people think I'm crazy, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Um, but I don't know. Dana throws a lot, so maybe that might equalize things. On the ground, I don't think it's gonna be as easy as people think. I know people think Norma Dumont is going to just ragdoll Irene Aldana. I don't think that's gonna happen. It's going to be very difficult to do that to her. Um, I think maybe the reach will give her some type of an advantage, and because she throws a little bit more, um, there's so many things that go into my predictions. It's difficult to actually explain in detail why I picked Irene Aldana, but this is one of the few fights, or rather, one of the two. The first one was Yasmin, and then Irene Aldana might actually lose this fight, but I'm sticking with my pick. I trust my research, and I'm sticking with Irene Aldana. I think she's going to be. I wouldn't even say she's the better fighter here, but yeah, I think she's going to find a way to win. Um, yeah, I don't know why Norma Dumont does not fight often because clearly she's a fan favorite. Anyway, on to the next one: Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne. My subscribers and I went with Ronaldo Rodriguez. My subscribers think Rodriguez is going to get this done in the first round. They also gave him the IQ advantage. Another risky one. This fight. This card, man. This card. My subscribers and I went with Ronaldo Rodriguez, but I think Ode Osborne has a shot. Um, on the feet, I'd give the advantage to Ronaldo, even though I feel like Ode Osborne has the power advantage. Um, and then on the ground, what happens on the ground? I think on the ground they might be evenly matched. So yeah, I'm going with Ronaldo Rodriguez, but this is a risky. You know, there's a part of me that tells me I'm going to get 100% on this card, but looking at these numbers, looking at the research, looking at everything that I'm looking at right now, it worries me. I feel like I'm going to get a couple of fights wrong, but I have a feeling I had this feeling last week that I would get 100%. Unfortunately, um, what do you call her? Jessica Andrade and Trevor Peak did not come through. But that 100% was live last week. Okay, the fight between Jessica Andrade and Silva was not close. But yeah, I have a feeling I might get 100% here. But the amount of these fights are so closely matched that it's worrying. If I get two wrong, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. That's how risky this card is, in my opinion. I hope I don't get anything below two wrong. Um, whew. and I picked Ortega. This is going to be a wild card, man. But yeah, my subscribers and I went with Rodriguez. I feel like this fight is also close. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm worried. I'm worried. I just want this card to just come and pass so that I can see if I was right. I think cards like this help me know how good I am in predicting fights because I don't think a lot of people realize how close this fight card is. So for me to actually be successful on this card will make me feel a little bit more comfortable about my analysis going forward because surviving a card like this and still coming out on top means like my analysis is really good. Uh, for me, even though I've been doing really well, like so far, what happened in the past doesn't really mean much to me. Like I look at what's going to happen in the future, and I think this card is going to determine how good I am. It's either I'm really good or I don't know. I don't know. So far, I've been doing really well, but I think this card is going to test my strategy. But yeah, went with Ronaldo Rodriguez, not very confident. On to the next one, Daniel Zalhuba versus Esteban Ribovics. My subscribers went with Daniel Zalhuba, and I went with Esteban Ribovics. My subscribers gave the IQ advantage to Daniel Zalhuba. They think this fight is going to end via decision. Zalhuba is not winning this fight, guys. Like I'm, you know, it feels weird saying these things after what happened last week, but Zalhuba is not winning this fight, guys. Like I'm telling you now, Zalhuba is not gonna win this fight. Like understand that. I'm telling you now. Come back. I take my L's on Monday every day. Like I never run away. Even back when my picks were not that great, I still came back and I was taking my L's, even though I was down and upset with myself. But I was coming back and taking my L's. So last week I said I would come back, and I came back. Even though I didn't do that badly, I only got two wrong, but I still came back. Even after I said all the things I said about Trevor Peak. So I'm saying this again here. Esteban Ribovics is going to win this fight. I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. And this is one of the few fights that I'd say I'd be willing to risk it and I don't know, put something on it if ever I was betting. But I mean, what's Zalhuba going to do, man? Like, yeah. I think as Ribovics is going to be the better striker. He will have power. He throws volume. On the feet, I think Zalhuba will be better. On the ground, I think not Zalhuba. On the feet, Esteban Ribovics will be better. On the ground, Ribovics will be better. I honestly don't see Zalhuba winning this fight. I honestly don't understand what people are seeing that I'm not seeing. Maybe it's because he trains at Extreme Couture. And that's not enough for me to overlook the fact that I think Ribovics is the better fighter here. Um, so yeah, I'm a little bit more confident in Esteban after a bit more research. I'm a bit more confident, but like my confidence is being questioned, or rather, I'm questioning myself because of the things I said last week. You know, getting 10 correct doesn't mean anything. The fact that I pointed out one fight and it was one of the two fights that I was wrong about, it makes me question what I'm saying right now. But I'm sticking with it. I don't think I mean Daniel Zalhuba is going to win this fight, and this is a risky card, and I've been saying that, but I don't think Zalhuba is going to win this fight. On to the next one, Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. I went with Brian Ortega. My subscribers went with Diego Lopez. My subscribers gave Brian Ortega the IQ advantage. My subscribers feel like Diego Lopez is going to win this fight via decision. This fight is dead even, like dead even, in my opinion. Um, on the feed, it's quite literally even, in my opinion. On the ground, I'd give the slight advantage to Brian Ortega. My biggest concern is that I think Diego Lopez is going to be a little bit faster. Diego Lopez has obviously more power than Brian Ortega. Um, damn. Yeah, the two things that I'm scared about is Diego Lopez's speed and power, right? But what do you call him? Brian Ortega has fought and got to a decision with Max Holloway, with Alexander Volkanovski, right? He was being beaten up, but being able to survive in a fight with those two tells me that Brian Ortega is a really good striker. Diego Lopez is not a great striker. He has power, he has speed, and he pressures, right? So for me, I see a situation between. Even though I'm a massive fan of Hamza Chimaev, to me this fight looks like Hamza Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns, right? But the difference for me is that I don't think Diego Lopez is Hamza Chimaev level talented. I don't think Diego Lopez even beats, what do you call him, the current champion, the current featherweight champion, Ilya Tuporia. I don't think Diego Lopez beats Ilya Tuporia. I don't think he beats Max Holloway. I don't think who else is in the top five. Um, there aren't that many people that I feel like Diego Lopez is going to be able to beat in the featherweight division. And Brian Ortega has performed decently against them, right? Or rather, the two of them, obviously Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway. So this is me speaking about the stand up, right? My only, or rather, my two main concerns about picking Brian Ortega is Diego Lopez's speed and his power. I know a lot of people are bringing up Diego Lopez's performance, and I'm even guilty of that at UFC 303, and his performance against Dan Ige. But I guess we have to also remember the fact that Diego Lopez was a short notice replacement. It's not like he was scheduled. The actual co-main event was Khalil Roundtree and what do you call him? Yeah, the dude who got knocked out by, I forgot his name. Uh, I'm sorry, like it's not even a mean thing. I forgot his name. Those were the actual main event, and then Roundtree was removed because of substances and everything like that. And he's getting a title shot, UFC. Anyway, so Diego Lopez was not the actual or the original co-main event. So he came in on short notice. So I'm not, and then on top of that, he had multiple weight cuts. And I'm of the opinion that even when someone comes in on short notice, we have to give the person who's accepting the fight on short notice as well, like credit as well, because they were preparing for a different type of fighter, and then they got a different type of fighter. It's kind of like people who are trashing Hamza Chimaev for taking, or rather for getting a win over Kamaru Usman on short notice. For me personally, Usman was a harder fight, even on short notice, against Kamaru Usman than than Paulo Costa. Paulo Costa is not that great. So I think Diego Lopez fighting Dan Ige on short notice deserves a bit of praise because it was a higher ranked, seasoned um, veteran in the UFC. So for him to be able to survive, even though he didn't get a finish, for him to be able to survive says a lot. But his striking did not look good, man. Like even if it was, I don't think weight cut has anything to do with him not being able to strike. Like it's kind of like saying Alexander Volkanovski got knocked out because he came in on short notice. No, dude. Like no. If he got submitted, yeah, I would say that. But if he guessed out in the third round, I'd say yeah. He got knocked out within the first half of the round, if I remember that correctly. That has nothing to do with preparation or cardio or whatever the case is. He's primarily a striker. He should have dominated that. So for me personally, I don't think Diego Lopez is a good striker. He has power, and if you can manage to find ways to avoid getting hit, you have a decent shot at beating him. And I think Brian Ortega will find that way to avoid getting hit. And Brian Ortega is not an easy dude to finish. On the ground, Diego Lopez was being dominated in the contender series by Joe Anderson Brito. And sure, I understand that Joe Anderson Brito is not like a scrub, but he's not Brian Ortega as well. Or we are yet to see Joe Anderson Brito perform at a top five level. So in terms of wrestling, maybe jiu-jitsu, um, maybe when it comes to BJJ, Diego Lopez might have the advantage. But when it comes to wrestling, I think Brian Ortega will have the advantage. And even if Brian Ortega does not necessarily submit um, Diego Lopez, I think Brian Ortega will have the ability to take him down and control him there. So on the feet, what scares me is the speed and power. But if he can survive that, I think Brian Ortega should actually manage to win. On the ground, I think it's going to be Brian Ortega who's going to be on top if the fight ever gets to the ground. So I could be wrong, but I remember doing the same thing for Kai Kara France in the last fight. I went on this type of rant about Kai Kara France in the last pay per view, and the people were saying, "Nah, Kai Kara France is not going to win." And I did this. What I'm doing right now, and it's a spontaneous thing. I didn't prepare anything. It's just me trying to actually substantiate my reason for actually picking him and explaining it in detail. And in the process, I'm actually convincing myself that I made the right decision. So I did the same thing with Kai Kara France, and I went in depth like I just did right now. I could be wrong, but when you combine the fact that in terms of wrestling, I'm not talking about jiu-jitsu. People confuse jiu-jitsu with wrestling. You can have great submissions, but if someone is able to avoid getting submitted and just stay on top of you, even if they don't do much, as long as you're on your back and they're controlling you, they're throwing little punches there and there, it's a boring fight. But as long as you're on your back, you're losing the fight, right? Which I think is probably what might happen if the fight goes to the ground. Brian Ortega will be on top. Diego Lopez won't get submitted, but he's going to get controlled because I don't think he has good wrestling. He has good BJJ, he doesn't have good wrestling. He has horrible striking, but he's fast and he has power. I think of the two, Brian Ortega is the better striker, but he doesn't have speed or power. That's one of the few things that scare me. So, and Brian Ortega is not old, so I'm not necessarily worried about his age as yet. So, yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Highly possible. It's a risky fight. I mean, that's why my subscribers went with Lopez, and my subscribers have good predictions as well. So maybe I'm wrong. On to the next one. Alexa Grasso versus Valentina Shevchenko. My subscribers and I went with um, Alexa Grasso. Um, my subscribers gave the IQ advantage to Valentina Shevchenko. Um, And then my subscribers feel like Alexa Grasso is going to win this fight via decision. Another one. I'm not going to even sugarcoat it. Valentina Shevchenko is the better fighter here. Valentina Shevchenko might win. This card, this card is horrible, guys. When it comes to predictions, this is probably going to be the hardest card to predict. Right? Maybe not the hardest, I don't know, but Valentina Shevchenko is the better fighter everywhere. Like quite literally, she's the better fighter everywhere, and yet she got submitted the first time. I believe she won the last time, but they were in Mexico. She got Alexa Grasso got a 10-8 for something that Valentina Shevchenko did in round three, if I'm not mistaken. Valentina is now older. I don't know, man. My opinion is Valentina Shevchenko is the better fighter, but being the better fighter means nothing if you're getting older. We saw it happen to Amanda Holly Holm. You know, she got submitted by, is it Bruna Silva? Is it her name? The girl who lost to Raquel Pennington. It's her fault that Raquel Pennington is the champion right now. That chick beat Holly Holm. Like, do you want to tell me? Do you want to tell me that Bruna Silva? I don't know her name if I'm pronouncing it properly. Do you want to tell me she's better than Holly Holm, skill for skill? No, Holly is the better fighter clearly, but she's old. Like, like, like she's old, and that's the problem here. Valentina is the better fighter, but she's old, and Alexa Grasso has had experience fighting her. Um, but it doesn't make this fight less risky. But because the problem is, Valentina arguably, actually, technically won. Not technically, but she won the last fight, and she was robbed. And if this fight is close, it's definitely going to Alexa Grasso. But yeah, the way Valentina Shevchenko is so committed to to his martial arts and everything like that, it worries me. I mean, Bilal Muhammad just became champion and he's like 36 or 37. You know, so anything is possible. Who knows? Shevchenko might prove us all wrong and say, "What? I'm old. Who told you that?" Because she is the better fighter. She is. But I'm still going with Alexa Grasso, man. I'm so worried about my predictions this week. This card, I'm worried about my predictions. I don't want to lie. I'm going with Alexa Grasso, guys. God help us all. Anyway, on to the next one. Sean O'Malley versus Merab Davalishvili. My subscribers and I went with Sean O'Malley. Um, my subscribers gave the IQ advantage to Sean O'Malley. My subscribers say this fight is going to end in the third round. Do I think Merab is going to win this one? Merab is not going to win this fight, guys. Possible, but man, I don't think Merab is going to win this fight, guys. What is he going to do? Shoot a lot of takedowns. And who did he beat, man? He beat an old Jose Aldo. He beat an old Henry Cejudo. He beat Piotr Jan, I think, right? Who else? And Jan, I mean, Jan was out wrestled by Aljamain Sterling. A lot of people forget that. In the first fight, Aljamain Sterling was winning that fight, and then he started getting tired, getting gassed, and then Piotr Jan was starting to take over the fight until the illegal knee. But he was getting out grappled in the first fight. He lost because of wrestling in the second fight. I mean, who's surprised that Merab was able to out wrestle Piotr Jan, right? There are certain the people that he beat. For me personally, and I know a lot of people are comparing Merab Devalishvili versus Sean O'Malley to Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad. And I've said it. I've said this in the comment section. Number one, Bilal Muhammad was trained by Habib Nurmagomedov. Who do you know who's been trained by Habib? Who's not like an excellent fighter? For some reason, whenever you train with Habib, you become a championship level fighter. Merab was not training with Habib. That's the problem. The first problem, he didn't get the same level of training, and I've been repeating it in the comment section that I feel like if Aljamain Sterling and even Merab was training at AKA, I think both of them would be unstoppable, right? I think Aljamain Sterling and Merab are really talented fighters, especially Aljamain Sterling. I just think he's at the wrong gym, right? So that's another problem, right? I don't think Merab is at the right gym for him to dominate anyone. Um, who's a special talent in that particular gym that you know of that you can point to and say this particular fighter, I think he's going to destroy everyone. There's no one, man. Whereas when you look at the Sean O'Malley's gym, there are so many talented fighters. There are so many talented prospects that Sean O'Malley has the ability to actually train with. You know, which is something Leon Edwards didn't have. I know that I'm just trying to answer the comparison to the fight between Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards, I don't think he comes from a good gym, so it's not the same comparison when you compare him to Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley has amazing training partners. Like that gym is full of talented prospects. So, and also Leon Edwards does not know how to finish a fight. So you can't compare Sean O'Malley to Leon Edwards. He doesn't know how to finish a fight. Sean O'Malley knows how to finish a fight. I think Sean O'Malley has the reach advantage which Leon Edwards didn't have, and he knows how to use that reach advantage. I think Sean O'Malley is the better striker, um, very accurate, throws a lot of volume. And I said it in the comment section. For Sean O'Malley to win, he just needs to defend takedowns for one round. Because Merab is a horrible striker, and he's not going to improve in a couple of months. So I don't know how Merab wins this. Even if he shoots many takedowns, I think Sean O'Malley is smart enough to come up with a game plan. I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks him out with a flying knee, because we know the game plan. We know he's going to come in, shoot a lot of takedowns, and Merab would be a little bit more dangerous if he had submission abilities. He doesn't submit. He doesn't finish fights, so you don't have to worry about him submitting you. You just have to worry about him shooting many takedowns. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, Sean O'Malley does not have cardio. Maybe I was watching a different fight, but the fight between him and Chito Vera, it looked like Sean O'Malley could go another 5 rounds. Like he looked exceptionally well. And I've been a Sean O'Malley critic for a while, but he looked sensational in that fight. And his cardio looked excellent. So I don't feel like there's going to be a massive difference in cardio um, in this particular fight. So, in all honesty, man, I honestly don't see a path to victory. I think Aljamain Sterling is a better striker than Merab. I think Aljamain Sterling is a bit more of a finisher and a better wrestler than Merab. And even Merab actually admitted it, and he was like, Aljamain Sterling actually beats him in training. So that's one of the and people miss this.
That's one of the reasons why Merab didn't want that title shot. Obviously because they're friends, but it's also because Merab actually publicly, if you search it, Merab actually admitted it. He was like, Aljamain Sterling beats me in wrestling. So that's one of the reasons why, not wrestling, like in the gym, in the training camp. And I know it's different, but if he couldn't beat Aljamain Sterling, and I'm not doing MMA math, I'm just saying, and that's one of the things I said when Leon Edwards was fighting Kobe Covington. I was like, if Kamaru Usman failed, and I think Kamaru Usman is a better version of Kobe Covington. He's the better wrestler and the better striker. If Kamaru Usman lost, then Kobe Covington is not going to do any better. And for me, this is the same situation. Aljamain Sterling was the better striker and the better wrestler, and he still lost. And admittedly, he got caught. We don't know what would have happened if the fight maybe went to the fourth round. I don't know. But it doesn't really matter. That's the point of being able to finish a fight. If you can finish a fight, it doesn't matter what would have happened. And I don't know, man. I don't think the cardio thing and shooting 100 takedowns is going to work on Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley is a smart fighter. Like, he's not going to just come into a fight and say he's going to shoot a lot of takedowns. I'm going to let him do that to me. Like, I think a lot of people think that's what's going to happen, and I think a lot of people are underestimating Sean O'Malley's ability on the ground. He can actually grapple, and like I said, he has incredible um, training partners in his gym. Like, his gym is full of talented prospects. So, in all honesty, the more I talk about this, is the more I become a bit more confident about my pick. I don't think Sean O'Malley is going to lose this fight. Manuel Torres, Sean O'Malley, and maybe Esteban Ribovics. For me personally, I'm not giving anyone a parlay. I'm just telling you the fights that I feel a little bit confident about, because I'm not too sure about Raul Rosas Jr. winning this fight. I'm also worried about him, but he might win, but I'm worried about him. Let me respond to your comments before I bounce. Whew, there's a lot of comments. I'm going to be here all day. Um, Let me see. Where did I end? Yeah, had a good one. Bro, give me the best parlay. I'm not good with parlays, man. Last week I got like 10 fights correct and only 2 wrong. And guess what? Out of out of the 10 fights that I got wrong, or rather out of the 2 fights that I got wrong, one of them was in my parlay. Like, so so that means if you didn't listen to my parlay and just picked any of my other predictions, you would have made money. Just so my predictions are good, but it seems like whenever I feel confident, not always, because sometimes when someone says give me a parlay, I give them a parlay and it actually hits. But I don't like doing parlays. It happened with Dudakova as well. I got, I think, 2 wrong on that card, but Dudakova was one of the fights that I got wrong, and every other fight I got right. So I don't know. It feels like maybe I jinx a fighter whenever I say I'm confident. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, my most confident I think is Sean O'Malley, Manuel Torres, and Esteban Ribovics. Um, it's a risky fight, but I think those are the fights that I feel pretty confident about. I kind of like Shaira's grappling. Yeah, I guess, but I think Joshua Van is going to be better. Chairez is not that great, man. Van is turning around pretty fast. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was Charles Johnson. Yeah, Charles Johnson. Yes, my mistake. Where are you? Where Where are you in the essay? Um, I don't know if I should. In Pretoria. In Pretoria. Alphabet man. I don't know what to call you. Alphabet. Joshua Van is built like a child. The things you say, dude.
That's why YouTube likes to remove your comments to the things that you say. Wow. But he's skilled. He's a skilled fighter. Yeah, he is. I think I'll play Shira's first. For Shira's finish, only if the odds are right. I don't think he finishes Shira's. Yeah, possibly. If it goes to decision, I get my money back on that bet. Yeah, smart. Twizy Rich decision to decision, no action. Okay, that accent from Louisiana. No, no, South Africa, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you for correcting that. I know he's African and Louisiana is in South. So is that a yeah? No, I've never been to Louisiana. I'm in South Africa. Is there Louisiana in South Africa? No. There might be. I'm sensing a truth if they have phones over there. Why can't there be a Louisiana? What do you mean if we have phones here, man? Like, you think I live in the jungle? Like, I just don't want to show my where I live on the internet. But my neighborhood is really really nice. Not really really nice, but yeah, it's decent. You know, it's beautiful. Like, what do people think Africa is like, guys? Like some of the places in Africa are more beautiful than some cities I've seen in the United States or United Kingdom. Like the houses that we live in. I've seen the houses that sound like obviously maybe it's not. Let me say this: the houses that I've seen that can compete with some of the houses in South Africa are the houses that cost millions in the United States. You know, like even basic houses in South Africa look incredible. Um, I don't know what they're showing you on television, guys. South Africa is not a jungle. We don't live in trees. I think maybe you guys are confused by the background. maybe maybe at some point I'll take you guys on a tour. You know, just go live and just show you around my hood, or go maybe to Sandton or Main Lane in Pretoria. Main Lane, or rather, actually, Pretoria East is one of the most beautiful places in South Africa. Maybe just go around South Africa and show you a bit of it, because it seems like people have this idea that Africa, we live in huts and then we hunt for food. Like, for someone to say we have phones, like it's a basic thing. How can I not have a phone, dude? Like, go through my channel. Do you think someone who lives in a hut can do the things that I'm doing on my channel? Anyway, I'm not being mean. I hope I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to explain. Or guys, South Africa is beautiful, man. Um, Obviously, there is poverty, much like everywhere else in the world. Um, I've heard of Skid Row in the United States. I mean, poverty is everywhere, and obviously, maybe because our country has been stolen from for so long, we we are taking a bit of time to develop. But like, South Africa is very well developed, um, very well developed. Where do you think Trevor Noah came from? Where do you think Elon Musk? People don't know that Elon Musk is a South African actually. Charlize Theron is from South Africa. There are so many people from South Africa. How do you think they got there? How do you think the skills that they have? How do they acquire them? Like, I think when people think about Africa, they think we live in, I don't know, huts or something like that. Anyway, UG, yeah, decision, no action. Couldn't see your comment for a while. Oh, Tweezy responded to the alphabet subscribe. I don't like using that because the alphabet community means something else. I'm only playing it's if it's minus 150 or less though. Okay. Yeah, seems like a decent play. No way I'm getting 100. No way I'm getting 100% on this card. We'll see, Twizzy. We'll see. This card is a nightmare. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. Even though there's only 10 fights on this card, I definitely feel like I'm wrong
on some of them. Yeah, it's wild. Sven, how are you, man? You used to troll me. Now you're very nice. What up, bro? I'm good. I'm good, Sven. You're a changed man now. Like you haven't trolled me in a very long time. It's good to see. Welcome to the stream, Sven. Why do you like deleting messages? Kanan, what are your picks, bro? I just went through all of them, but they are all over my channel. The video section, the short section. The video section is incredible right now, man. There's cardio, there's IQ advantage, there's risky and safe picks, there's basically who comes from a better gym. There's so many things on the channel. Just go through the channel. Um, your locks, my locks. I don't like doing locks because one of them is bound to be wrong, and then I might. The crazy part is I might get every fight on the card right, and then the one that I get wrong it will probably be one of one of the locks that I have, right? So there's 10 fights, right? I might get nine right, and then the one that I get wrong is probably in my locks or in the parlay. But the fights that I feel pretty confident about is Sean O'Malley, Manuel Torres, and Ignacio. No, Esteban Ribovics. I almost made a mistake there. Twizy, I'm pretty sure Ribovics wins round one. Not sure after that. Zelhuba, a late starter. I guess we'll see. I don't think Zelhuba is going to win that fight. If you're on Zelhuba, I think it's a live bet spot. Okay. I mean, I guess we'll see, but I'm pretty confident that Ribovics is going to win. Zelhuba is going to be better at range, and he has an 8-inch range. But that's the thing. I think Ribovics is better everywhere. So if the striking is a problem, he can just wrestle him or mix it up to create openings for striking. Too lanky. We'll see. I honestly look at Diego's striking and I wonder how he's gotten so far. Me too, Sven. I'm off the Diego Lopez hype train. Yeah, me too, man. I haven't been, but he's been proving me wrong. And maybe he might be one of those fighters who are not very technical. I mean, look at Dricus Duplessis. He's the champion. And if you looked at him in the past, even though I've been picking him since he fought Robert Whittaker the first time, like I picked him to beat Robert Whittaker, and ever since I've been picking him. But so far, I haven't feel I haven't felt confident with Diego Lopez, even though I've picked him a couple of times. I don't feel confident about him actually becoming a champion even. I guess you could say the same to Ortega, but at least he looks more technical. Yeah, he is. Diego gets exposed. I think so too, man. Walter D, welcome, man. He's scary. He has scary power, man. But I think Ortega can make it past the round one and win a close decision. I think so too. I just don't get how Diego Lopes is lined a Pickens. His last three fights against Bums. Now he's a minus 175 against Ortega. Yeah, it's crazy. Kanan Volk. Yeah, Walter D. Diego went life and death with a 24-hour notice opponent, right? Yeah, he did. Sven, I think Costa beat Chimaev. No, Sven. No, 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 Sven. Sven, Costa has not beaten anyone who's ranked since he fought Yoel Romero. Like, how does he beat Hamza Chimaev? Even if you don't like Hamza Chimaev, you can't say that, man. Like, Costa literally has not beaten anyone who's ranked since he beat Yoel Romero. How is he going to beat Hamza Chimaev? Ortega is a punching bag that hits back and wrestles, so he'll beat Diego. Wow, what a way to describe him. Walter D. I was thinking the same thing. Okay, Twizy, she got submitted with a arm over her face.
That was a weird sub. Yeah. Yeah, maybe she's not used to pain. K Nega. Wait, I've been calling you Kanan, my dude, and it seems it's K Nega. I'm sorry about that. My picks Esteban, Valentina, Ortega, Irene, O'Malley. There are a lot of risky ones there. Valentina, even though I'm picking Ortega, he's a risky one. Irene is also a risky one, but get them. Um, Tweezy Reach, but yeah, honestly, might pick flip on Shevchenko Grasso. I honestly don't think Grasso's that great. I don't want to fade logic over age. Well, age. Go ask Holy Home, man. Like it's rough. Andre, I think Valentina is the better martial artist, but I think Grasso is going to take it. It's a noche event, so if it goes to the judges, I see them leaning towards Grasso. Yeah, I agree with that. And it's most likely going to go to a decision because both are tough. But I don't think she's going to get robbed. Possibilities are Grasso is going to win clean, but we'll see. Hopefully, Mirab doesn't 50-45 Sean by holding him up against the cage and grabbing his ass. The little goblin. You see why YouTube likes to remove your comments. Look at the things that you're saying. Twizy, Peter Yan and Mirab both are slow starters. Just Mirab had the better gas tank. Yan couldn't get going. Yeah, I agree. Twizy, since Mirab starts slow, I think he gets caught in round one like usual. Yeah, I could see that. But I don't think, even if it goes to a decision, I think Sean O'Malley has a good shot at winning. But Merab is such a terrible striker that if O'Malley gets a shot to actually finish the fight, I think he will. It's crazy how good DDP is with no high level training partners. True, true. But it's a I think it's a different situation there because he mixes everything up really well, right? He has power. He has wrestling. Like he has a couple of things that he's able to mix up really well. Um,